there we go. Okay. So it is recording. And it is very blurry. Can you focus on my face? Please and thank you. Oh, am I finally in focus? I can't tell because I don't have my glasses on. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's in focus. Even if it's not, we're gonna go with it. You may have noticed that my hair is wet. That is because I literally just dyed it in the sink. I dyed it pink. I've gone pink. I went blonde at Christmas, and my whole plan was that I was gonna go blonde, and if I didn't like it, I would immediately like dye it a bright, fun color. And then if I didn't like that, I would just immediately dye it back brown. Because it's hair, you can do whatever you want with it. Which is not a philosophy I always had, and that is pretty much why I am making this video. So when I was growing up, I had this really thick, really vibrant, beautiful, like auburn hair. It was mostly brown, but it had a lot of red through it and like some golden strands, and it was beautiful. And everyone told me all the time how beautiful my hair was and how lucky I was to have such thick, beautiful hair. And everyone said this all the time. Hairdressers, my mother, my mother's friends, random people on the street. Someone once approached me when I was a teenager and asked me to sell my hair. She said, "Hey, is that your natural color?" And I said, "Yeah, it is." And she was like, "Oh, you should sell that." And I said, "No, thank you." And she was like, no, someone would really appreciate that hair. Someone would love that hair. You have enough hair to cut off and sell. You should sell that hair." So that was a little bit intense. So yeah, my whole childhood I was told I had this beautiful hair and it would be sacrilegious to ever cut it or dye it or do anything to it, which of course meant that I desperately wanted to cut it and dye it and do weird things to it. But I never did do anything weird to it. The most drastic thing I did was when I went to college, I cut it into a bob, which, you know, objectively didn't look that good because I did it myself with like kitchen scissors. And then I cried about it for like a whole day because I didn't know what I was doing, and I was like, oh my god, my hair was the only thing that made me pretty. I think I got that in my head for a long time. I was like, my hair is the only thing that makes me pretty because I'm not skinny, I have crooked teeth, and people don't seem to want to date me or kiss me. Therefore, the only thing that is nice about me is my hair and the fact that I've got big tits. Which sounds really sad when you say it out loud, but that is how I felt for a very long time. The other thing that stopped me dyeing my hair ever was that I wanted to be an actor. And you're told when you go into acting training, you're like, okay, you need to have like neutral colored hair. You shouldn't have any visible piercings except for your ears. You shouldn't have any visible tattoos. You have to be a blank canvas. And I really internalized this. I was like, okay, my body is not my own. My body is work, and also you're told you need to be in shape and you should be skinny, and I never managed that bit. Literally didn't matter what I did or what I tried. Always overweight. I've been more or less in shape over the years. You know, there's been periods where I exercised a lot. There's been periods, such as now, where I barely exercise at all. So my weight has fluctuated, but I have never been skinny, and I've, you know, come to the realization that I never will be skinny, which is all my rambling way of saying, I had body image issues to begin with, and then I entered an industry which compounded those issues. Yeah, I'm not an actor anymore. I don't work as an actor. My career never really took off for many reasons. I started like professional acting training when I was 18, but even before that, when I was in youth theatre and stuff from the age of like 13, 14, I took it very seriously. Like, this was what I was going to do with my life, and I was dedicated to it, and everything was about acting and my future career. And in a way, I feel like I robbed myself of agency because I couldn't just do something in the moment. Like, get a tattoo or cut my hair or dye it even a normal color without thinking, oh, how is this going to affect my future career? If I change my hair, I have to get new headshots, and new headshots are expensive, and they might not be as nice as the old headshots, and blah, 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 blah. At the time, I was so focused on the fact that I wanted to be an actor and I needed to be an actor, and being an actor was the only thing that was going to make me in any way happy or give my life any sort of value whatsoever, which again, sounds really bad when you say it out loud, but it fully was my mindset from the age of, I would say, 12, 13 to 27, 28, probably 30 actually. Oh, I laugh. It's not funny, but you have to laugh about these things. I applied to every drama school under the sun. I did not get accepted to any of them. I did get into the University of Carmarthen, which I was quite excited about, even though it was my last choice. Not because there's anything wrong with the University of Carmarthen. I think I actually would have gotten on pretty well there if I'd gone. But just because I had it set in my head that I was going to go to RADA or LAMDA or the Royal Welsh College, you know, like a conservatory, a proper posh conservatory. That was the goal, and I did not achieve it. But I did get into the University of Carmarthen for the drama program, and I thought, okay, this is going to be fine. I'm going to go, it's going to be great. And then for several different reasons, I failed my leaving cert and did not get the points to go to the University of Carmarthen. So instead, I wound up doing a FETAC course, which, if you're not Irish, is essentially like kind of community college level, I think it's equivalent. So I ended up at Kinsale College in Kinsale in Cork, and thank Christ I did. I was already putting so much pressure on myself internally and had all these neuroses and issues and everything going on in my head that if I had gone to an actual drama school, I think it would have destroyed me psychologically. But instead, I ended up at Kinsale being taught by the amazing Ian and Belinda Wilde, who are two of the nicest people on the planet and also have a philosophy about acting and theatre and the industry which isn't toxic as hell. Their whole philosophy is about being playful and embracing yourself and your individuality and bringing your own individuality to each role, to taking genuine joy and pleasure in the act of performing rather than trying to get it right. I ended up spending 3 years in Kinsale, and you know, while they were very challenging in their own way, and you know, I still had my own mental health things going on, it was such a transformative experience. It really helped me to unlearn a lot of that toxic, you know, viewpoint that I had internalized. And it also gave me an opportunity to apply to university again, which I did. I applied to the University of Salford because at the time there was a pilot scheme linking Kinsale College to the University of Salford. I spent 3 years at the University of Salford where I got a BA honours degree in media and performance. I got a first. Anyway, while I was in Salford, I ended up coming into contact with Salford Arts Theatre. I worked there for a while. I got to know Ronnie and Scott, who run it, who are amazing. They also run an acting agency, which I ended up signing with. So by the time I graduated, I had my degree, I had an agent, and I was like, this is it. I'm finally gonna be a professional actor and do things. And I was going on auditions and things were going well. I mean, I say things were going well, things were going okay. I wasn't actually booking jobs, but I was going on auditions, which is something. And then this little thing happened a couple months into 2020. I don't know if anybody heard of it. It was called COVID. Yeah, that really fucked everything up for me. I've said before in previous videos, but I have long COVID. It's been 6 years, literally like 6 years this month, and I'm still suffering the effects of long COVID. For me, long COVID manifested as a sort of chronic fatigue with some chronic pain thrown in there, you know, just for fun. So I was going through all this physical health stuff, and I was also going through all this mental health stuff. And the mental health stuff got to such a difficult point where I finally, after years of saying, no, I don't need them, no, I don't want them, I finally got on antidepressants, which was amazing. One of my biggest regrets in life is not going on antidepressants sooner, because it literally changed my life. It made everything better. Obviously, going on antidepressants didn't like magically cure my depression. I still have depression, I still have anxiety, but it has made my quality of life so much better. But going through all that and sort of coming out the other side and being properly medicated started me down this path of like, I suppose, self-discovery. And then I turned 30. And something in my brain just kind of clicked. I realized that I had been carrying all of this self-hatred and internalized judgment and all of these things with me for my whole life, essentially. I realized not only was I, you know, not realistically not going to be a successful actor, but I didn't actually really want to be. It was a goal I had decided on so young, and it was something that gave me external validation and made me feel good about myself and worthwhile. And the more I thought about it, the more I wondered, well, why don't I feel worthwhile anyway? Why don't I feel valuable just existing? You know, why do I have to achieve this thing in order to have worth? I don't. That's bullshit. That's a thing that I've internalized. It's not a thing that's actually true. So I decided to stop actively pursuing acting. It's still something I love to do because I enjoy performing, and, you know, I've trained for it. I don't want that training to go to waste, so if a part falls in my lap, I'll take it. But I'm not gonna spend all of my energy pursuing this thing and pursuing this thing that I'm not even sure that I really want to do. And once I had finally made that decision, I felt free. I felt like this huge weight had been lifted off of my shoulders. And I also realized, oh my god, I can do whatever I want with my body. Like, it's my body, I can do whatever I want to it. It doesn't matter how it looks. It doesn't matter how other people perceive it. It doesn't matter if it is marketable. I can just do whatever the hell I want. And that was a big revelation for me. Like, I know there are tons of actors, and successful actors as well, who have tattoos and piercings and fun hair and do whatever they want and don't give a shit. Because of, again, I had internalized all of these like rules of what you have to do to be an actor. But yeah, anyway, once I had made that decision to kind of step back from pursuing acting, like this floodgate opened and I was like, oh, I want to dye my hair. Oh, I want to cut my hair short. Oh, I want to do this. Oh, I want to do that. And it was also kind of frightening. It was like, oh, I don't know, I don't have a goal now. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life. And what if I make big changes and I don't like them? You know, so it took me a while to actually get to a place where I was like, okay, I'm gonna wade in gently. I'm gonna start by cutting my hair short and see if I like that. And then I was like, oh, I kind of want tattoos. So I'll get one small one and I'll see how I feel. And now I have 3. And finally, this Christmas, I said, fuck it. You know what? It's just hair. It doesn't matter. If I fuck it up, I fuck it up. So I dyed my hair. I bleached it myself. It looked like shit. I bleached it again. It looked slightly less like shit. And I was blonde for a while. I was blonde for like 3 months. I actually really liked being blonde. I think it suited me. But it also felt like a very safe option, even though I liked it. And I was like, well, I've always wanted to have like cool dyed hair. Do I like it? I don't know. I don't know if I like it. But ultimately, I kind of think it doesn't matter if I like it or not, because I did it. It wasn't just dyeing my hair pink. It was letting go of all the reasons why I couldn't have pink hair. I do like it. There's something kind of mermaidy about it. Like, I feel like I look like a mermaid Barbie. You know what I mean? Like, you could buy a Barbie with this kind of hair and she'd come with like a little fabric tail with pink glitter that you could slide on and she could swim around, and then you could take it off and put her in like a swimsuit and she could be on the beach, and you know, it's like Secret Mermaid Barbie, and the only thing that stays the same is her hair, and that's how you know she's secretly a mermaid. Is anyone else getting that vibe, or is it just, I think that's just me. I think that's just me being strange. I also have dolls on the brain. I'm actively having to stop myself becoming a doll collector. This is not relevant to anything, but I feel like I'm 33 years old. I can't be spending my money on dolls. But also, I'm 33 years old and I can do whatever the hell I want, so why not spend my money on dolls? You know? But I'm not letting it get out of hand. Like, I'm being normal about it. You know when you're 33 and you've got pink hair and you're normal about dolls? Yeah, that's me. Look at them. Look at them. They're so beautiful. They're so... How could I not buy them? Like, how could I have possibly resisted? Their 30th anniversary... This year is the 60th anniversary of Star Trek, but these were released for the 30th anniversary, and I got them, like, really cheap because the box is a little bit damaged. They're perfect, and I love them, and I do not regret at all buying them. But I'm not allowed to buy any more. That's the rule. I can have these, no more. And it's definitely the end of the collection, and we're not gonna look at that cupboard over there. We're not gonna examine what's in there, because the Star Trek dolls, that's all. Don't look over there. Shh. Unrelated, but related, I've been going through the process of getting diagnosed for ADHD and autism. Apparently I don't have autism, which seems wrong, but I do definitely 100% have ADHD, which explains a lot of things. Ultimately, the reason I'm making this video is that I think a lot of people, and certainly I did when I was in my 20s, firstly, your 20s are fucking awful. They're really stressful. People say, oh, it's the best time of your life. It's fucking not. It's a very, very stressful time. My life has gotten infinitely better since I turned 30. Not necessarily in a, like, life way. Things aren't necessarily going well, but emotionally, mentally, every single year, I have gotten better. I have liked myself more with each year that passes since turning 30 than I have in the whole rest of my life. Like, I still have struggles. I still have anxiety and depression and ADHD, apparently. I'm not where I thought I'd be in life at the age of 33. I'm not where I want to be in life. But I'm also not gonna judge myself for that or put myself down because of that or call myself a failure, because I'm not a failure. I've achieved a lot, and the most important thing I've achieved is learning to not hate myself, which is really hard. It's really hard work, and it is work. You have to treat yourself with kindness, even when it's really hard, even when it feels completely impossible. You just have to try. And sometimes part of being nice to yourself is challenging yourself and dyeing your hair pink, even though it's a scary thing to do. So yes, that is the end of the video. Did I make any coherent points? Not really. But I also didn't write down anything before this video. This was fully just me word vomiting into a camera, so, you know, blame my ADHD, which I apparently have. I mean, you guys should have seen it before. It was so patchy and terrible. This is my third time dyeing it in the last 2 days. Because it just came out so patchy and weird, and it's still a little bit patchy and weird. But, you know, it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna say that it's fine. We're gonna say that it's fine, and we're gonna be positive and have a positive attitude, and it's fine.